Okay, we are back in Friendsim 2, or at least I think we are. I had to do some finagling to get it to work, but hopefully it'll work. I wasn't able to record the screen itself. I had to just record the area, which is weird. But anyway, continue. Let's see where we left off. It has been so long since I played this. He's a hero? Okay, so I think we... load? Yeah, let's load. Oh geez, it's been literally over a year. Wow, look at that. How time flies. What's the latest one we have? We got April 26th. Yeah, I'm thinking April 26th is going to be the winner here. Okay, here we go. April 26th. We got the Route 1 Revolution ending. Let's see. Okay. Alright, and here's Route 1 Final Investigation. Okay. So here's 2255. Here's So these ones are no wait, these ones are the 25th. Okay. This one's on the 26th. This is the most recent one. Let's go. No. We'll continue in Volume 2, A Thinly Veiled Secret. Continue. Root contains warnings, depictions, and discussions of state institutional violence. Root has action sequences, player action sequences, oh no. See who the dudes here are. You sink into your seat and take in your surroundings in a small transport ship you're currently on as the ship you're currently on leaves the port of Galaxy Space Yacht. Got a message from Okay. Isn't there an auto voicer? Because I am not going to be able to read all of this. Alright, action difficulty. Well, they do have codes there. Streaming music volume. What? Is that where reduce music volume for portions of gameplay with unvoiced narrative? Reduce music with unvoiced narrative for streamers who are providing their own. Okay, yeah, I am not doing that. Oh geez, we are quite a few volumes back, but I've been busy. Toggles assistive self-voicing V. That's what I'm looking for.
Self-voicing enabled. You sink into your seat and take in your surroundings as the small transport ship you're currently on leaves the port of Galaxy Space Yacht. 1.
It's amazing that with AI and whatnot, it's going to be so much easier to do a lot.
You know you've only just arrived back on Alternia, but this is the first time you've really had to relax since you returned. 3. No weddings to attend, no dead bodies to discover, no trials to lacerate, just you, the whir of the engines, and your 3 good friends, relaxing in their own seats. 3. Self-voicing disabled.
3 messages. Remove. Teresa.
Self-voicing enabled. However, you do still have a mission. A mission to help your friends survive the Empire. As much as you want to lie down and rest, you think it would be a good idea to chat with your friends for a bit, if only to scope out the general mood. Talk to Tagora. Theseus and Stilsa look like they're still having a moment after the terror of the trial, so you go over to chat with your good friend Gorger. You give him a little wave, and he looks up from filing his nails.
Bored already? You do know this is a 3-hour flight, right?
You do. You just wanted to chat a little.
Well, you know me. Every minute with me is another Kager in my pocket.
Kager?
Oh man, can we not do this today? You just saved his ass from being shot by his kismesis on the day of his hate wedding.
I kid. You can talk to me however long you want, free of charge. I owe you at least that much for convincing Gallic to leave that awful job of his. What did you want to ask?
I should have saved it earlier, but...
Save. Quit game. Save.
Wow.
Close menu. Why is he coming back? He's planning on leaving his job as a legislacerator, right? Why is he bothering to come back to the Iastistia?
1. Not a legislacerator. 2. I wish I wasn't. Stilsa's making me come back and collect the paperwork she promised she'd do.
Is he in a group project or something?
Oh, definitely not. We're not even in the same department. Stilsa just sometimes offers to do the more obnoxious busy work I'm burdened with. To tell the truth, I'm not sure why she does it. Maybe she finds it fun or something. She says I look stressed when I have too much paperwork, so she takes it off my hands. Anyway, even if it's technically my work, she promised she'd do it, and now she's going back on that promise. So I have to go back and collect what I gave her.
You wonder why Stilsa would offer to take on that extra burden in the first place. Either way, if it's a matter of being stressed, Stilsa's probably pretty stressed after that trial, right? You tell Tagora he should give her a break for once, especially since it's not even her work.
I guess. It's an inconvenience, but it's not one I can't handle.
About his job. Tagora said he wasn't a legislacerator? You thought all Tealbloods trained to be legislacerators?
Of course not. No. We all trained to be in the Legis Corpus. Legislacerators are just one branch of the legal system. Well, more like one branch cleaved in two, but you get the point. I have nothing to do with that branch. Like I told you before, I'm a showmaster.
Showmaster? That doesn't sound very lawyery. More like a job you'd find in a theater.
Nothing is more theatrical than law. Trial development is all about putting on a good show. The kind of trial you just held with Gallic is kind of unheard of around here. In most cases, if you're put on trial, you'll be executed then and there.
Ouch. You're glad Galec's ship wasn't an actual courtroom.
I would have been dead for sure. Trials tend to be reserved for the really big crimes. Things like high-level treason, murdering high-bloods, crimes in that vein. And yes, attempted assassination of a member of the Alternian Intelligence Service would be a trial offense.
Oh wow. So how would the actual legal system have done that trial?
Well, as a showmaster, I've thought a lot about how I would have designed my own trial/execution. The whole incident caused Gallic a ton of paranoia, right? Well, I would center the execution around paranoia. After the verdict, which takes 2 seconds and doesn't matter, I would put myself in a box made of one-way glass. The audience could see my reactions, but I can't see what's happening around me. Then, the sounds are funneled in. I wouldn't know what method of execution is planned, so every time I hear a sound, I'd be on edge. The growl of beasts, the sharpening of swords, the spark of flamethrowers. The audience would watch me squirm until they start getting bored, when finally they simply send someone in to slit my throat. Maybe a little more intentionally than the poor bastard in the airlock. You get the idea.
Holy shit, that's brutal. Planning these showy executions is what he does for a living? Is he okay with this?
Well, it's no ambulance chasing, but at least it's exciting. I'd never be able to do what Tisius or Stelsa do. Their jobs sound insufferable. You'll have to ask them about it, though. They'd probably beg to differ.
About this ship, you take a look around the ship, you're all in. Plush seats, complimentary beverages, a load gaper, it's like you're flying first class here. You ask Tagora why Galec just happened to have a first-class transport ship lying around on his space yacht.
Are you hearing what you're saying? Of course he has top-quality transport ships to go with his top-quality space yacht. What, do you think they pay him pennies over an AIS?
You see Tagora's face fall.
Pennies that he won't be making soon enough.
Tagora takes a moment to think about something. He's looking visibly distressed. You prod him a bit, hoping you can calm him down.
I may have miscalculated when I agreed to go off the grid with Gallic. Even if Legis Corpus is worse than I anticipated, I have become accustomed to a certain standard of living. A standard of living that has been partially subsidized by my Cosmesis. I'm going to have to put twice as much into my side hustles. Maybe I can start selling my burner husk to Tisius' rebel contacts. I know she has them, she's not subtle about it.
Whoa. Slow down with the whole girl boss shtick. Galec has always been loaded, right? Even on Alternia he had that huge jerk-off book hive, the money for that had to come from somewhere.
Yes, but that can't last forever. I'll just find another way. I wonder if there's anyone I can swindle on the Eustacia before I leave for good.
Tagora's staring off into space and tapping his chin, head clearly in the money zone. You probably won't be able to snap him out of this one. You tell Tagora you're gonna go explore the ship a bit. See what fun surprises Galec may have built into it.
I guarantee you there are no surprises, but have fun, I suppose.
He nonchalantly takes his nail file out and goes back to grinding his claws to a fine point as you step away. 1. Talk to Tisius and Stilsa. You walk to the other side of the room to find Tisius and Stilsa sitting together, Tisius' head on Stilsa's shoulder, their fingers intertwined in their laps. Stilsa seems to have a death grip on Tisius' hand, but she doesn't seem to mind. 1. Stilsa immediately perks up when she sees you coming. Stilsa
Okay.
Stilsa, Barber. Activate.
Alright, which is the new one?
Selected.
Didn't it just say Stelsa when I came in here? Maybe that's cool.
Selected. Stilsa immediately perks up when she sees you coming. 1 at perpetual perfect. Stilsa immediately perks up when she sees you come. 1.
Weird.
Well, if it isn't the newest and best legislacerator in the Alternian Empire.
What is this message I am missing?
Selected. Stilsa. Well,
Is that it?
selected. Stilsa. Selected. Stilsa. Well. Selected.
Alright. Looks like it's just those ones.
Selected.
Clearing.
Se-
clearing
selected.
name.
Stilsa.
Okay. So it's
Stilsa.
higher or
Well,
larger with
if it
this
isn't the
array.
newest and best.
Sound of the future.
Stilsa. Well, you. You point at yourself. You don't know about that. You just put some puzzle pieces together.
Nonsense. I couldn't have done a better job myself.
You couldn't have done a better job yourself because it's not your department. Thanks for figuring that out back there, though. You really helped me out. In more way than one.
Of course. You just want to help out. That's what you're here to do. Be helpful. Speaking about being helpful, you ask about whether or not the two of them have thought about your oh so very helpful offer you mentioned earlier.
The alternate universe thing?
Yep. You beam at the two of them, bouncing on your heels a bit.
We're not.
Oh, Zizi, I think we should consider it. Can you imagine? We'd be living in a place where nobody is breathing down our necks. No more random hive stem drone checks. No more threat of death for not filling our work quotas. No more having our online data tracked.
Well, that last one still definitely happens in the other timeline, though it's more so you can get eerily specific targeted ads.
Well, that still sounds better than the knife that's hanging over our throats now.
Stills, you can't be serious.
Why wouldn't I be? I'm surprised you're not more excited about the prospect of leaving.
We have things to do. People we can't leave. You're not really gonna abandon Tagora like that, are you? I'll be right back.
Theseus takes her palm husk out of her pocket and starts furiously typing. She moves a couple seats away, completely shutting the two of you out.
I'm so sorry you had to see that. I don't know what's gotten into her. I'm sure she'll be back soon. Anyway, how are you holding up after the trial? What's on your mind?
About Theseus. You ask if Theseus has seemed more on edge lately, or if this is just how she is now.
Just how she... No, of course not. You just popped in on us during a stressful situation.
She seems so resistant to your plan though.
I do get where she's coming from. She's got her Moirail, Daria. Do you know her?
Daria. Was that a Daria Johnjet? Was that the one? Did we go to an abandoned mall with her or whatever in Friendsim 1?
Of course you know her, you're the one who brought the two of them together.
Oh, such a good matchmaker. Maybe you can work your magic and get me a Moirail. But I can't blame Zizi for her reaction. It's already so hard to be separated from the ones you love through Ascension. Being separated across dimensions would be even harder. We're so lucky that we were both assigned to the Justitia. I can't imagine what it would be like if we had been split up for good.
Wait, the Justitia isn't just where all teals are sent when they reach adulthood.
Of course not. Can you imagine one ship with every teal in the galaxy on it? No, the Justitia is just the Legis Corpus flagship. We handle the general organization of the legal system, as well as the largest trials. There are dozens of lower-level ships that deal with much lower-stakes jobs, like contracts and high-blood property disputes. Not to mention the thousands of Enforcement Division legislaturators spread across the galaxy. Placement is all based off test scores. If Zizi and I hadn't placed so high, we might have had to... I don't want to think about the horrible could-have-beens. I'm just grateful we get to live out our ascension together.
About Tagora. You ask Stilsa why she's been doing Tagora's paperwork for him. Isn't that his job?
He hates busy work so much, I just thought I could take some of it off his hands. I do get through it pretty quickly after all.
Well, she clearly didn't want to do it forever, right? Isn't that why she's asking him to take it back?
Well, yes, but you see, do you ever look at a person and think, I could really help him?
As a matter of fact, you do. That is a huge part of the whole friend compulsion shtick you've got going on. You didn't think that was normal, though.
Well, that's what I feel when I look at Tagora. He's so easily stressed out, and I know I could be there for him if he wants me to be.
Oh, is she cheating on Zizi or Theseus? There we go.
So, I take his extra paperwork when I have the time and energy. But I do not have the energy right now. Also, it does not seem fair for me to finish at the last of his work before he goes off the grid forever.
Oh, it looks like Stilsa cares about Tagora a lot. Maybe you and Theseus could join him off the grid. If he can drop everything and hide in space with Galek, what's stopping you two?
Oh no, that's far too dangerous. The Eustacia may be no paradise, but it's always safer to keep your head down and do the work assigned to you.
You remember Theseus saying something about Stilsa not being a Legis Lacerator. You ask her what she does then.
I'm an Order Terrorizer, of course. I probably could have gone down the Legis Lacerator track if I wanted to, but it can be so unpredictable. Order terrorizing is much more consistent.
What does Audi terrorizing mean, though?
Oh, of course. Why should I assume you already know? We handle the internal affairs of Legis Corpus. Presenting elaborate show trials isn't easy, and if the other branches are left to have free reign, the delicate balance of organization goes out the window. Half my job is just convincing the showmasters to scale back on their special effects. That's how I started getting really close with Tagora, actually. I had to talk him down from flooding the entire courtroom and filling it with sharks. He was insistent that it was the only animal execution he could do for the crime of impersonating a sea dweller.
That's intense. And yeah, probably really messy.
Oh, tell me about it. The amount of paperwork to properly get even one shark shipped to the Eustacia is ridiculous, let alone a room full of them. Aside from wrangling the showmasters, it's really mostly paperwork. It's not interesting, of course, but it's predictable, and that's all I can ask for.
You notice that Theseus is still a couple seats down, tapping away and ignoring her mate Sprit. You really want to find out what's up with her. You tell Stilsa you'll be back in a minute.
Take your time!
You walk over to Theseus and give her a light tap on the shoulder. She jumps nearly 2 feet in the air and immediately stashes her palm husk away.
What the fuck? Can't you see I'm busy?
You just wanted to talk. She's seeming so agitated lately and...
Of course I'm agitated. I was nearly shot earlier today. And now you won't stop bothering me while I'm trying to get important work done.
You ask how she's managing to get work done on this tiny transport shuttle without a husk top.
I'm just talking to some people.
Who is she talking to? Is it Daria? Can she say hi for you?
It's not Daria.
Theseus takes a deep breath and clutches the bridge of her nose.
Can we talk about this later? Sometime when we're not in such close quarters?
Okay, you get it. You get it. You still want to talk though, you really haven't gotten much of a chance to catch up with her.
Alright, fine. What do you want to ask?
About her. Okay, she's a Legis Lacerator, right? There's gotta be a legislacerator on this ship. You thought all teals grow up to be legislacerators, but apparently some aren't? And now you're even more confused about the troll legal system than you were before. Theseus laughs.
Yes, I'm a legislacerator. What made you think we all were?
You don't know. It's the only troll legal word you really remember being tossed around. You don't even understand the legal systems on Earth. You can't be expected to remember all the Alternian terms too.
Honestly, I can barely keep them straight myself. Makes sense that legislacerator is the only title you remember, though. For a while, we were all there was. Hundreds of sweeps ago, before the adults were sent off planet, legislacerators did it all. We did the research, caught the criminals, presented the trial. We were an all-in-one law machine.
That sounds like so much to handle at once. You're glad Theseus isn't saddled with that kind of expectation now.
Well, things were a whole lot less complicated before Alternian colonization really took off. For one, all trials were his honorable tyranny-based trials.
You tilt your head, confused.
The giant monster trials. All you had to do was catch the criminal, say why they're guilty, and let the monster eat their head. Once we spread out into space, it got harder to make sure there were enough monsters spread across the galaxy, so Teal started to specialize in making interesting show trials in lieu of his honorable tyranny. That's when the showmasters became a thing, and with them came the auto-terrorizers to keep the logistics in check.
So, does that mean that Theseus catches criminals? You can't picture her being a cop, especially if she was allowed to choose a track.
Oh, of course not. I'm an investigative legislacerator. Around the beginning of colonization, it became pretty clear that some legislacerators were better at actually tracking down and catching the suspects, while others were better at collecting and presenting evidence. So, the branch split into the investigative division and the enforcement division, but both kept the title legislacerator because it was so historically recognizable.
So, that means she's like a detective and a lawyer wrapped into one. You ask if she's done any exciting trials where she's brought some nasty criminal to justice.
Oh, I haven't actually presented any trials yet. I'm a neophyte, which means I'm basically a research assistant to one of the senior legislacerators. They're the ones that collect evidence on site and present the trial. I just comb the archives for anything that can make the troll on trial look even more guilty. It's not a bad deal, honestly. I get unrestricted access to the Empire's legal records, which is kind of a goldmine.
A gold mine? You ask why the legal records are so important. Theseus stiffens and side glances in Stilsaw's direction.
It's nothing. They're just super useful for work.
Alright, you see you've pried too far. You decide to change the subject. About Stilsaw. It sure was lucky that Theseus got to stay with Stilsaw post-ascension. You don't want to know where the two of them would be if they didn't have each other.
We almost were separated, actually. Our ascension placement is completely based on our cruelest bar test scores. We both aced the exam, of course, but Stilsa's scores got mixed up with someone who didn't do so well.
Oh no. What happens to trolls who don't do well?
The ones who fail? Instantly culled. Thank fuck her scores were swapped with someone who just did okay. But for a couple weeks, we thought she was going to be stationed doing paperwork on a low-level fleet ship. We started to say our goodbyes and everything. It was...
Theseus takes a breath, shuddering at the memory.
If we had been separated, that would have been it. I probably would have deserted or something. The real test scores were found before we actually went off planet. I don't know how I would survive on the Eustitia without Stealth. She's really the only thing that keeps me grounded.
Aw, you're really glad they have each other. Theseus looks over at Stilsaw and sighs lovingly. You know Theseus hasn't seen Daria since Ascension, but you've gotten to know how she is. You need to know how their Moirai Yegians first began. Theseus looks a bit pissed off at your mention of Daria, but softens a bit once you ask about the start of their relationship.
After you introduced us, we started meeting at a cafe by the school feed pretty frequently. She was so angry, and I knew I could help her redirect that kind of anger toward the right things. Guess I saw her as a project at first. That's pretty fucking awful, not that I say it out loud. But it's kind of true. But pretty soon, it became clear that Daria was helping me too. I can get pretty overwhelmed when I look at the state of the Empire, but she helped me see past the smoke and actually get up and do something. She knows people. She might have been an angsty little shit, but she's really good with people, and she got me in contact with other trolls who had the same fire inside them. We started going to concerts together. We were even in a band for a bit.
Theseus can play music? You never would have guessed. What did she play?
Bass. Really bad bass. The whole thing was Daria's idea, and we only did a few gigs, but it was still fun. We were basically inseparable for like a week. I don't think there was a day where we made it official, not like there was with me and Stealth. We just started calling each other Moirail at some point because it just made sense. God, I miss her so much.
Wow, they sound like they were so close. You're so glad you introduced them to each other. It sucks that Ascension had to separate them. Sucks that Ascension separated her from her whole network of friends, it seems. Wait, these people Daria introduced Theseus to wouldn't happen to be the Reb. Ow. Theseus gives you a sharp kick in the shins to shut you up, furiously glancing at Stilsa and mouthing later. Alright, you'll shut up? Jeez. You look over your shoulder at Stilsa, still sitting alone and minding her business. Theseus takes a peek too and sighs.
I guess I should go back over there. Apologize for leaving so abruptly and all that.
Theseus moves back over to Stilsa and lays her head on her shoulder. You smile. No matter what bullshit either of them have going on, they always seem to have each other. After a surprisingly long journey, you hear a beep and an automated message. The shuttle will be landing at the Iastiscia in 5 minutes, please do not leave your seats. 3.
Ooh,
After Selected. After a surprisingly long journey, you hear a beep and an automated message. The shuttle will be landing at the Iastiscia in 5 minutes, please do not leave your seats. 2 at Chixie, 1 at Chixie, I'm so lucky, I get to create for a living. It's such a privilege. Selected. Selected. After a surprisingly long journey, you hear a beep and an automated message. Selected. Selected.
How long are these conversations?
Selected.
Hours are going by.
After a surprisingly long journey, you peer out the window by your seat and watch as the spacecraft pulls up to an enormous spaceship, large enough to hold an entire civilization. If you hold your head at Julius the right angle, you can see the shadow of Alternia looming beyond the edge of the Iastiscia. You made it. The rest of your friends are in reach. The shuttle pulls into a port, and you see your first glimpse of the interior of the Iastiscia. The walls are the standard Alternian purple you're familiar with, embellished with teal cyberpunk Y decorations. Yup, this is definitely a teal ship.
Well, here we are.
Home at last! Oh, I can't wait to hop in the shower when we get to the apartment block.
God, I know.
Hey, Gallic gave you the best wedding accommodations you two will probably ever live to see, and that lack of a shower saved your ass.
I know. Come on, let's go home.
1. The 3 of them lead you down a series of labyrinthine hallways. Just row after row of huge windows staring into space and mysterious unlabeled doors that could lead to anywhere. The 3 of the
Let's see what
Selected.
this one is.
Selected.
There's
The-
okay, already said
Selected.
that one.
Selected.
Something.
Select-
Yep.
Selected.
I swear some people are just perpetually ungrateful.
Selected. The 3 of them lead you down as
Okay.
you have no idea how they navigate anywhere in this place. It's like a haunted college English department had a baby with a robotic corn maze.
You're probably going to want to stick by us as long as you're here.
So you don't get lost forever. 1.
Lost? What are you talking about? This is one of the easiest ships to navigate. No, it's because you're a cullable offense.
But, you thought Gaelic took you off the cull list. But, Sel-
Message.
sel- sel-
Alec, Marvis.
But, you thought
got
Galek
something
took you
to
off the
say,
call list.
Sorgor?
But,
So sad.
select,
Okay.
but, you thought Galek
Just
took
because
you
the
off
Empire
the call
isn't
list.
actively looking for you doesn't mean they won't feed you to the beast the second someone notices a strange, pasty white alien on an authorized Legis Corpus ship.
You gulp and put up your hood, pulling the strings tight. You'd normally fall back on your innate friendship magnetism if you ever got into a situation like that, but you remember that that was all a lie. You're not under any scratch manipulation spell anymore, and you're all out of powers. The four of you stop at a pair of identical doors, one with Tagora's symbol on the door and the other with Tizia's and Stilsa's, side by side.
Well, it was an honor. I hope you two like drowning in busywork for the rest of your lives.
Tagora slips into his apartment with a dramatic flourish and slams the door behind him. Tizia. You step inside and, wow, it's surprisingly huge.
Isn't it lovely? Zizi and I were so lucky to have gotten one of the quadrant suites.
The place really does look like a home. You step inside to take a better look around, as Theseus tosses her stuff onto the couch lounge plank. One day you'll make a dictionary of all the troll words you should have memorized by now. Stilsa starts to take off her shoes, jumping up when she catches a glimpse of the calendar.
Zizi? Is it really the 24th of 8th perigee?
Yup, why'd you ask?
I can't believe I forgot! I'll be right back.
Still
Uh-oh, message.
select 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 selected
I really should turn off the
Select-
auto voice before
selected.
I check these. It's just gonna keep
Selected.
going nuts.
still saw. I
well,
can't
if you
believe
thought
I
this
forgot.
was extremely vague,
I'll be
of
right
course,
back. At Betterkle Gorger. I swear. Some people are just perpetual.
was what you done?
Still
Okay.
saw. I can't believe I forgot. Still saw bolts into a back room and comes out with a small candle in a glass container and a black leather-bound book with her symbol on the cover. You ask what she's doing with all that.
Oh, this is a yahrzeit candle. You burn it for a full day cycle on the anniversary of a loved one's death, to honor and to remember them. My Lucis passed 3 sweeps ago today.
Oh no, you're so sorry to hear that. Still saw opens the book and points at an illustrated page.
I was supposed to light the candle at sunup, but with the wedding and trial and everything, it just slipped my mind. I'm sure that's fine, though. It's not like night and day mean much in space, anyway.
Still saw lights the candle and stares into the flame.
I miss you every day.
You take a peek at the open journal page and, wow, this is gorgeous. This is one of those fancy aesthetic bullet journals, isn't it?
It certainly is. I didn't make it, though. It belonged to my ancestor. Tyrona gave it to me shortly before I ascended. She found it in the contraband locker of all places. Isn't that crazy?
The contraband locker at their law school? That's a little weird. You ask if you can take a peek.
Oh, of course! Let me show you some of my...
I hate to interrupt your catch-up session, but it looks like our favorite show is on.
Favorite show? You try to ask, but Theseus puts a finger to her lips. Very faintly through the walls, you hear what sounds like Tagora screaming to himself. Theseus runs over to the wall to press an ear against it, while Stilsa shakes her head in disapproval.
ZZ, that's awful!
What can I say? He's fucking hilarious when he gets mad.
Theseus,
Message. Alright, probably.
selected.
Yep.
Theseus, what can I say? He's fucking hilarious when he gets mad at Betterkle Gorger. What in the
What
Empress name
is-
is going on here? Selected, Theseus, what can You get closer to the wall, not pressing yourself against it like Theseus, but close enough to make out words.
How dare you? I'm your husband. How could you do this to me? And right before our honeymoon, no less.
Theseus has a shit-eating grin on her face, barely stifling laughter. Stilsa is still across the room, but you can tell she's curious.
Come on, you know you want to hear this juicy shit. It sounds like Gallic is cutting him off financially or something.
No, not the coffee. Anything but the coffee.
Oh, fine.
Stilsa presses her ear against the wall next to Theseus, the two of them sharing chuckles as Tagora continues to rant. After a while, Stilsa's face falls. She pulls away from the wall and heads towards the door.
Where are you going?
I'm just gonna check on him really quick.
You know he's gonna be fine. He gets in a phone fight like twice a week.
I just want to make sure.
1. Stilsa bolts out the door while Theseus walks away from the wall and plops down.
Flops down on the couch. Okay, got it.
Stilsa bolts out the door while Theseus walks away from the wall and plops down onto the couch at Betterkle Gorger at Betterkle Gorger. Stilsa bolts out the
I'm
door
gonna miss
while
that little
Theseus
shit when he's
walks away
gone.
from the wall
Not as much
and
as
plops
Stilts will,
down
though.
onto
That
the
pale
couch.
crush she's got is intense.
Oh, she wants to be Moira Ailes with him. That explains the paperwork thing.
Yep, it's honestly kinda cute.
Theseus sighs and scrolls through her palm husk.
Sorry about shutting down your plan back there.
Theseus.
Alright.
Theseus. Sorry about shutting down your. Selected. Theseus.
I know
Sorry
Stilsa
about
is
shutting
interested
down
in
your
leaving.
plan back there.
She might even be
I just-
interested enough to leave me behind. And as much as I'd love to live in your utopic locked timeline with her, you know why I can't do that. But I can't let you take her from me either. So the best thing I can do is try to make her forget about it.
You say nothing. You know you can't separate them, but it's not right for Theseus to force Stilsa to stay miserable in Legis Corpus like that. You
I wish you could read.
You say nothing.
Yeah,
You
so
know
it's
you
like
can't
some
separate
Easter
them,
egg, and I'm
but it's
glad
not.
you could come
You
to an
select.
understanding.
You say nothing. Theseus' palm husk buzzes, and she shoots up.
Oh shit! I gotta go.
She pauses for a moment and looks you over. She
Pauses for a moment and looks you over.
She pauses for a moment.
I
She,
hate
she pauses for a
Hey,
moment and looks
Wanna
you
come
over.
see what's so important that I can't go with you?
Theseus walks towards the door and gestures for you to follow. Oh hell yes, revolutionary activity time. You bolt off the couch and follow her out the door. You follow Theseus through yet another series of labyrinthine hallways. After walking past what you think must be the residential section, you take a left at a water fountain.
And I think that's actually going to be it for right now. I mean, just getting back into it. Yeah, that's
Save slot 1,
about all the time I
Tuesday,
have to play at
May
this point.
2nd, 2023, 12:20, Route 2.
We'll have to get back into this
Save.
next time. So I have
Save,
no idea how.
save.
I
Save
don't-
slot
don't
1,
really know like,
Tuesday,
what they're setting up for
save.
this chapter, but anyway, we will get into it next episode. Till next time, Alita.
Close menu. Quit game. Save. Are you sure you want to quit?